Jinnina jenna.
Kanuli anana bas, na misana bas, na milkana bas, gada misana gut, misana gula dem. Kana magana kai dabar fataka ibutte suki kulla iwati udda itali.
Hello, dear viewers, you're watching Obi Horn of Africa, our Gadaa program. In this edition, joined by Gemechu Abraham, executive producer of Aba Mulka, Oromo movie. And we'll be talking about development of Oromo artists and the quality of movies of Oromo artists in general. Gemechu, thank you so much for making time to talk to Obi.
Yes, thank you for the time for reaching out and getting me here.
Well, to begin with, tell us about yourself. Who is Gemechu?
Gemechu, who is he?
Yeah.
It's a very good question. Well, yeah, Gemechu Abraham. I was born here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Moved to the United States when I was about 5.5. Grew up there. I live there now. I come back. Yeah, I have a wife and 5 kids, and I am a businessman, but also an entertainment enthusiast. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Well, you're pretty much concerned about your people, and I have heard that you have a community school at Shashamane as well, working on the development of Oromo artists, right?
Yes, that's true.
So what has brought that?
It's a good question. So what's brought that is, obviously living here for a very short time. I didn't get to explore the culture or how things work in Africa or Ethiopia per se. But, for me, and this is something that my parents enriched, put in me since I was a kid, is that to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from. So when you talk about building schools for rural villages in the Oromo region, these are the type of things that were instilled in me from my family to always go back. Although I didn't grow up here most of my life, they always instilled this, this thing of going back and helping your own. And I think as Africans, I think that's got to be a big focus, especially for when we leave here. We always have to go back home and help in some way. So building the school, education is something that's instrumental to growth of the country. So being able to do that and having the ability to do that it's a blessing, and it's an honor to do for me, honestly speaking.
Well, you have Aba Mulka movie, right, where you participated as executive producer, right?
Yes.
So before we talk about that, let's talk about the development of Ethiopian movie.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
So the Ethiopian movie, obviously, I think it's got a long ways to go. I don't want to diminish anybody's effort, but I think a lot of people are trying. But holistically speaking, I think there's a lot of room for progress. In terms of production, in terms of the format, dialogue, and like I said, I don't want to diminish anybody's efforts, but I think there's a lot of room for growth. And I think in developing the movie that which was directed by my partner, Lencho Fikru, we were trying to lessen those gaps that we often see in the movies. And obviously I think the audience is the one that has the say, but that's what we're trying to accomplish with producing this movie.
Well, you have acting academy with Lencho Fikru, right?
Yes.
Your partner.
Yes.
What initiates you guys to start an acting academy, especially teaching acting?
Yes.
And you have also used those students in your movie,
That's
right?
true.
Tell us about that.
Yes. So the whole idea came from my partner, like you said, Lencho Fikru, who is just an amazing art, person for art, honestly speaking. The way he came up with it was that he was frustrated in the infrastructure of the whole, Ethiopian film industry. A lot of the times, I think in this industry, a lot of the artists, sometimes they are just kind of taken from somewhere. Oh, you can play this role, as opposed to like, hey, let me teach you how to play this role. Let me mold you into this character, and then let's shape you to give the best performance. So Lencho came up with the idea about 1.5 years ago. We came here, I was actually back here in Addis Ababa. Then he came up with this thing and said, hey, can we open this acting academy? And you know, I've worked with Lencho previously in different sectors, and I believe in whatever he does, and so we collaborated in doing this. And so to answer part of your question, the reason why we did this, like I said, one was because there is a shortage of actors. And when I say actors, trained actors. For example, in Hollywood, you know, they have these trained actors. There's there's academies, just like how we're open here, where they mold these actors to play these roles. So our idea is exactly that, is to build an ecosystem of actors, and not just for movies, but commercials. And so we're trying to build a little ecosystem so that it's almost kind of like a production line. You know, you build somebody for theater, you build somebody for acting, you build somebody for commercial, so that when you have that, you're not gonna say, for example, you're gonna go and do production, you don't have a shortage, because I think that's a major issue in this country, and I think other developing countries as well.
Well, the other thing is, Oromo people, one of the largest group indeed in Ethiopia, have a rich culture, values and traditions. Do you think that these culture, tradition and values of the people well addressed in Oromo artists?
Definitely. I think the big thing that pushes me towards entertainment and arts is that. I think in movies you can tell so many stories. You can tell history of people. You can tell about where people come from, and you can do it and formulate it in such an artistic and very colorful way. So I think, with the amount of, people that are in our region, the vast culture, I think it can get captured, and I think you can present that to the world, and ultimately that's our goal. To be able to expose, this country to the rest of the world. And that's what, Lencho and I have set out to do. And I think we'll hopefully, with the help of our crew and everybody that's involved, we'll get there.
Well, Aba Mulka, a movie you guys recently inaugurated at the National Theatre.
Yes.
It was a grand inauguration and first in its kind, I think. So tell us about that.
Honestly speaking, I'm still soaking it in. Lencho and I work in a way where we almost leave everything to the audience, meaning we're two individuals that really like work, but we like to do it as efficient and effective as possible and to the highest quality. And when you have individuals that are so fixated on making everything perfect, I don't think you kind of sit back and say, oh, somebody's gonna come watch and enjoy this. I think we're just so pressed on making the best quality that we don't really anticipate like, oh, somebody's gonna come here, they're gonna love it, hopefully they love it. Obviously you want them to love the final product, but like I said, that was never the fixation. But I think what you guys have seen over media, in the comments that are pouring in, I think people are liking it. And as a director for my partner Lencho, I think that gives them a lot of morale. And for me as well, as a partner in the Acting Academy and executive producer, it's given us another push to, okay, what can we do better next time, or what we do more. But holistically speaking about the inauguration day, the day that we made the premiere, I mean, one of the best days of my life, honestly speaking. It was amazing. And not only that, we also got to graduate the students of Abbaa Acting Academy. So to be able to see them graduate at the same time, premiering this movie, I mean, I can't really even put it in words, the feeling from that day.
Well, I can say that, you know, you guys gave a lot of effort, you know, to the success of this movie. So can you tell us the road to the end?
The road to the end.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's pretty much tough. I can say that. Like, I want to hear from you.
It is definitely. You know, it was an uphill battle from the beginning. Honestly speaking, you know, when you're trying to do something different, people look at you crazy. But I think if people think you're crazy, you might be onto something, because that's saying maybe you might be doing different things. You know, like I said, from the beginning, Lencho and I had the confidence, and personally for myself, I had full confidence in Lencho because he's a man that delivers. And so, for us, honestly speaking, it's never, yes, there's a lot of uphill battles, but we never really fixated on that because we were so fixated on the end goal. So Lencho, I think he spoke about this before, and I've said this as well, is that I think if you sit there and just kind of sit on the, oh, this is not happening or this is not working, rather than being, you know, you orient yourself on the solution rather than the battles that come with these type of things. And so I think for us, that's kind of what we, naturally both of us, we're problem solvers. But honestly speaking, I mean, if I wanted to point out some of the issues we had, you know, I mean, going all the way from, you know, Addis Ababa to Wanchi to, you know, make this movie, that in itself is a huge problem because we had, you know, over 100 people, just crew alone. On top of that, you combine the community there, the logistics, transportation, electricity. And like I said, I don't want this to be a focus. I wanted to give you some of the highlight of what we faced because like I said, for Lencho and I, this is almost a battle that we are set to win. And that's how we work, both of us. And so although we had all these struggles, the focus was on the end and the end result and the success so much. So not so much on, oh my gosh, we can't have electricity this day, or we can't take all of our production crew to Wanchi. So yeah, we were just so focused on the results, but these are some of the things that you come up with, or some of the things that come up actually when you produce something like that.
It has great, I mean, high quality. You know, how that become a reality?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Qualities, you know, it's many say that you guys did your best, and the movie is in the other level. Mm-hmm. So how can that
be? Well, again, first and foremost, you know, the idea came in Lencho's head, so we had to translate the idea from his head to the ground. You know, obviously with him being, you know, the first in line, being the director, we had to, you know, extract from his brain to then take it to the camera, to then take it to the editor, who then combined with the person that was doing the coloring to give you guys the picture that you guys have, you know, you guys were able to see. And so there's a lot of different things that went into it. It's not just one thing, you know, but I mean, you know, our cinematographer, like I said, director first and foremost, you know, our cinematographers, the people, even, you know, the actors, our editors, our crew. I mean, it was a combination of everything, you know, and the big philosophy that we have at our acting academy is it's not me, but we. So everybody, you know, Lencho as the director, myself as executive producer, you know, we have Shemelis and Elias as the directors, we have Ayob as editor, you know, Abeni as a colorist. Everybody played their role, and it was a team effort, you know. Like I said, there's a lot of production companies that have the same cameras that we had, But when everybody combines together and has that we, not me, collective, I guess, togetherness, you see what you saw, a couple of weeks back. And so, like I said, I don't think it's not magic, but it's more so coming together, working. And this is not just for, entertainment or for the movie, but I think collectively as a country and as a continent, I think if we really fixate on ourselves, on we, not me mentality, I think everybody wins. And I think that's what you see today with the success of Aba Mulka currently.
Well, Gambi, let's talk about a story of your movie, right?
Sure.
Tell us about that.
Well, they'll have to come and see. Obviously
yeah.
that's, like I said, honestly speaking, since, it's not out there on many platforms. Yeah. If you'll excuse me, I don't want to say too much on it.
Okay.
I think because I don't want to take that, essence from from our audience, because if I speak too much, I think that's gonna take away some of the suspense.
Well, I respect that.
So I'm hoping, after maybe the audience, more people see it, maybe we can talk about it. But for now, I'll keep you guys guessing.
Okay. The other thing is, and I hope you have heard, the government is working, especially in Oromo cultural renaissance, a new initiative by the government, especially working on Oromo artists. Oromo people have, rich values, right? Traditions, cultures. So, what do you think about that?
I think that's great. Like I said, I live in America. I'm sure you're very versed with, the Hollywood and how they work. And I think, yes, America is a great country, but I think one of the aspect of what has made it great is the entertainment, and especially Hollywood. They're able to depict a lot of things that, like stories. They narrate a lot of stories and depict a lot of things. And so I think it's great that, they're focusing on building this infrastructure. For myself and Lencho, that was what we initially, started, and we're gonna be going regardless of who comes. We produced this movie with no sponsors, but if anybody's out there that's willing to work, and the people in government that are willing to, do things, I think this is great for the country, because again, I think with entertainment and arts, I think you can shape a community, you can shape a country, you can shape a continent. Because like I said, you can go, narrate people's stories, you can make that into a movie. And so I think it's great that people are opening their eyes to this, because this is very, it's an untouched, honestly speaking, in this country. There's a lot of room for growth, and I'm glad to hear that people are somewhat starting to take it seriously, because, like I said, entertainment it's huge, I think, for a country.
Well, the contribution of, the other thing is, the contribution of the diaspora is a lot, especially in the development of the country as well. You as, you went to US the 5.5 and 6, so you live there, but you see, the gaps in the nation, in your people, yes. Right? So you have done a great job, I can say that. So what do you say about the role of the diaspora, especially in contributing their share in the country?
Definitely, yeah. I think the role of diaspora, I mean, we play a huge role. Sometimes, like I said, if you live here locally, you're so immersed in the local life that you don't think outside of local. For us as diasporas, people that live outside of this country, who are exposed to so many different dimensions in movies and in other entertainment, you have the ability to compare. So when you have that ability to compare, you can kind of siphon through and say, well, this is good, this is not good. So it gives you a broader perspective, I think. And so when you have people such as myself that come in here and want to invest, in building, the community or the arts of this country, like I said, I'm coming at it with a different perspective. And like I said, the stuff that you see on Aba Mulka, this is exactly why, because we're trying to lessen the gap, for lack of a better word, just lessen the gap of what you see there, what can be done here, and let's see what we can, where we can take it. So I think the contribution of the diaspora community, I think it's huge. And like I said, we are exposed to a different dynamic there as here. So if you come already pre-exposed with something better, I think you can come here and add to it.
Well, the other thing is, do you think of collaborating with other stakeholders, especially to work on this area?
Absolutely. This entertainment thing, like I said, at our school, Abbaa Acting Academy, we have this phrase of "we, not me." Especially in entertainment, and a lot of people get this wrong, it is a collaborative effort. It can't just be Lencho or Gemechu or anybody else individually. You're going with, like I said, the cinematographers, the editors, the lightmen, the makeup artist. It's a collaborative effort. So I definitely think it's great to always collaborate, and you have to be willing. For success, you definitely have to be willing to be able to collaborate with others. Otherwise, I don't think you're not gonna be successful, because it's such a huge network of teamwork that if you want to just do it on my own, it's tough. Like I said, we did all this without no involvement, no capital from anybody, but we had the team, and that's what made this great. It's the team. It's not just Lencho by himself. It's not Game by himself. It's the team that made this what it is today.
Maybe my final question, what do you advise the enthusiasts of especially Oromo artists in developing the artists of the people?
Great question. What do I advise? I think first and foremost, we really have to sit down and make the effort. Anytime we do stuff, we do it to the best of our abilities. Because as an artist, through music or even in films, poetry, you name it, when you're putting something out there, especially in this world where you post something, it reaches millions of people, you have to understand you're representing a community, you're representing a continent, and ultimately you're representing you're representing a country, and ultimately you're representing a continent. So my advice is that if you're going to do something, do it to the best of your abilities. Do something that is going to be an inspiration for future generations. They say, aim high. Are you going to get there? Maybe not. But at least if you aim high, I think you will go high. So don't do anything mediocre. And this is just as collectively as a country as well, is that whenever you do something, you've got to do it to the best of your abilities. Because if you do great things, I said that in my speech the other day, you'll inspire future generations. And with Abbaa Acting Academy, Lencho and I, that's what we're trying to do. Not only are we trying to do our best, but we're trying to, shape future generations.
Well, if you have any final remarks, please welcome.
Sure. I'd like to first and foremost thank you guys for welcoming us. This is the second time we've been here. You guys have welcomed us. Thank you to you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Secondly, my partner Lencho Fikru. This is the gentleman that spearheaded everything, from A to Z. I always say I'm blessed to have him by my side and to be on this journey with him. To our production crew, our crew that we work with on the daily, You know, without all these individuals, our editors, Yoba, you know, Shime and Elias as cinematographers, Hapte, you know, all these individuals, the people that helped us, you know, share this work over social media. Without them, this would not be possible. So I want to say thank you to everybody that was involved in this. Also want to say thank you to my lovely wife who supports me in everything, and my amazing family who are always behind me. So, and like I said, with all their support, we've been able to do this.
Gemechu Abraham, executive producer of Aba Mulka movie. Thank you so much for his time.
Thank you for having me.
Dear viewers, this brings us to the end of our today's edition. Stay tuned with other Obi and Horn of Africa programs. Bye-bye.
Arabia na basa na misana basa na milkana basa kada misana ko misana ko lade milkana ko lade kono makala kayo dabar fata kayo butte so kayo so ki kullai wati udda itali udda